bringing peace from the inside out. And we've been having so far wonderful presentations by amazing speakers. And tonight we have another speaker who has already given an afternoon workshop, but this is his first evening talk. And this is Kenneth Johnson. So I'd like to introduce him. Kenneth Johnson spent over 20 years in prison until 1997, in which he undergone spiritual transformation. He is now a spiritual teacher and consultant to families and to those who have been out of or may be going to prison. He passionately shares the message that God's grace is here now with others, and he is the author of the book The Last Hustle. And tonight's talk is titled God's Grace is Here Now. Let us welcome Kenneth Johnson.
Coming behind this is quite humbling. I've been here since last Sunday, and I have been watching the ritual seriousness of this ashram and of the students. I was born in Arkansas, country boy. In 1948, I'm 63 years old. At an early age, I became a criminal by stealing candy from my grandmother's, stealing change from her purse and buying candy at the local candy store. My education was not the one that you're getting. You're blessed to get this education that you're getting. Do everything to get all the education that you can. Why? There are people out there in the world that need you to educate them about how they're mistreating themselves, how they're abusing themselves. Everything that you're doing is like putting money in the spiritual bank. It's an investment into yourself, into awakening, into this truth. It's going to come back. There's no doubt. I moved from Arkansas to Kansas City, Missouri, and I got hooked up with some young, as my mother called them, hoodlums. So we started stealing cars, joyriding, things that young boys do at 12 o'clock at night when there's nothing else to do. And so I ended up in a juvenile facility, and one thing led to another, and the next thing I know, I had became a career criminal with an education of maybe a 5th grader or a 6th grader. I went to prison over and over and over and over again, but each time I went to prison, I would pick up a book. And at the time it was the Bible, because that's all I knew. Then I picked up Malcolm X. Then I picked up Frederick Douglass. Then I picked up James Baldwin. I kept picking up these heavy thinkers. Then I started picking up Yoga Nanda Mutananda, the Bhagavad Gita. It was the Bhagavad Gita that told me if you repeat the name of Krishna, say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna over and over and over again, you will attain freedom. I believe that. And so I just kept repeating the name, not knowing what freedom looked like, tastes like, but I believed the word. And it was the word that brought a spiritual teacher to me. And that spiritual teacher was Gangaji. I'm from the lineage of Ramana Maharshi, Papaji. It doesn't matter up to a point. Once you get your education, that's beautiful. I got my education, I read, I studied, I educated myself. But then I got to a point where I needed a teacher. I needed a guide. I needed someone. I needed the Shakti pot. I needed to be waking up, because as I was meditating and doing yoga, I was sitting on my cushion, and one day as I was meditating, I had the very clear, bless you, the very clear understanding that if I meditated one more second, I would die. And I was about 35 years old, and I wasn't ready to die. So I took my cushion, put it on the bed, left it alone, no more meditating. So I kept reading. It says, in order to be free, you need a guru. I started praying for a guru. I had a dream of this person, this white-haired person coming to me. And I would attain freedom then. I love my dreams. I pay attention to my dreams. In my book, The Last Hustle, it's all about the dreams, astral projection, things I played with in prison. You know, I say, oh, I'm in prison, I'm laying in my body, how can I project out and go somewhere else? Because, you know, I'm locked up for 10 years. So I figured some kind of way to escape. So I laid there and I meditated and I watched and I levitated and I flew out of prison. It's in the book. But I want to say this. Getting an education of all the scriptures is beautiful. Getting an education of all the sciences is beautiful. But then there comes a point when you step into this place where there's no education. There's just this moment, just this love. In the book it says, I am bliss, absolute bliss, bliss I am. This is when you step into the bliss. And this is what I experienced in prison. This is what I take back to those in prison. They can read, they can study, they can do all those things, but then there comes the point where you have to step into this place of not knowing. And the only way I could do it was I had a teacher to take me there and hold my hand, because I was terrified to go alone. And Gangaji has been holding my hand ever since. She says, Kenny, don't drop this hand. I hold on to my teacher's hand at all times. Once I experienced this letting go of Kenny, letting go of the story of Kenny, then I stepped into this place of having to keep letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go. Each day I wake up, I have to start all over again and let this go, let this go, let this go, let this go. It's a continual letting go. Some people says, once I let go, will I be in this place of whatever? I don't know. There's something creating in their mind. I said, my spiritual experience tells me that I have to keep on walking every day, doing my work. My practice is taking refuge in other human beings. If they're spiritually minded people, I hang out with them, I talk to them, we do everything together to keep me on the path. That's my practice. Everybody I hang out with, they're doing some type of work. So when I go into prison, we sit in a circle and we have meditation. Then we have what we call a dialogue. We just talking. People in prison, most men and women in prison, are not familiar with what you're familiar with. They're not even familiar with their feelings. They don't know what they're feeling. So I have to let's get in a circle, let's talk about what's coming up. Everything is safe here. We created sacred space, so when the guys come in, they can sit and talk about what's coming up for them. I don't try to tell them you're one, you're that, let go of that. They can't even hear that. All they know is, man, right now I had a bad day in prison. Well, how does that feel? How do you feel about that? Well, you know, I want this. I'll keep trying to guide them back to just stay close to the feeling. And over time, they learn how to start looking within. I don't even try to introduce spiritual material to them. They can't even handle that. I tried it first and they were like, what are you talking about? I can't, this is too deep. But they can have a conversation about what they're feeling. And that takes time. And over time, I'm able to slowly guide them. This one is ready. This one is ready. Then they'll come in, Ken, I had a dream that I'm going to be free. I'm never coming back. I said, how does that feel? I'm always giving them the feel. Because remember, most people who are in prison, who's hustlers and thieves and criminals, they had to shut off the feeling mechanism. There's no way they can rob and steal and rape and kill with a feeling mechanism. So they shut it off. So it's called no conscious. This person cannot feel, I cannot feel this person's pain in order to rob him. So I want them to get close to start feeling again, just having some type of conscience. That takes time. This sacred space is a spiritual organization that's dedicated to men and women waking up however they can wake up. It may not look the way you're studying, what you're reading, but to my waking up is just being able to say, you know what, I'm not going to beat my wife anymore. I'm not going to get drunk anymore. I'm not going to do drugs anymore. They're a long way from getting here, sitting here, and reading the Bhagavad Gita and doing a chant. They're a long way from that. I've been doing this work since 2005. And there have been, I said, thousands and thousands of inmates, but there have been very few that has really caught this message. One just the other day had to do a program for me in California. He was so happy to be able to stand in for me. He sent me a text, man, thanks a lot. I got all kind of hookups, all kind of connections. Because now he sees the opportunity for him to go out and share his life with others. I'm very grateful to be invited here. I really appreciate it. I'm thankful, and my spiritual experience is just one, I would say, how can I say, it's just straight up raw, from the streets. That's the best way I can say it. It's straight from the streets. So my language, where I talk, where I describe things, may come in conflict with you, but it's not in conflict. That's just the way I talk, where I emote. But the one common denominator that we all have is that we are all one. We are all one.
Feel. Love.
What else?
Love.
Huh? Everything. We're everything. This is my experience. I speak from my spiritual experience. When I look into this man's eyes, I see myself. No difference. Gangaji told me, says, Kenny, you think that you're a black man, you think you're a convict, you think you're the father of a daughter, you're none of these things. So I said, what does she mean I'm none of these things? So I had to go out, I've been going out trying to prove that true. Am I a black man? I look black? I talk black? According to some people, I am black. But I see myself as this. This is what I see, the same. When I look into your eyes, I see nothing but myself. That's all I see. This is where I like to take some questions because I don't want to stretch it out. But I like to take some questions because I find it's in the questions that I really get to the heart of what's really going on. There you go.
The white-haired man you spoke of in your dream,
yes,
or woman, did you ever figure out who that was?
That was Gangaji.
Okay.
Yeah, she had, at that time she had white hair, now she's blonde. So. She's dying. There you go.
Kenny, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your story. I'm sure we all are. And have you tried any simple breathing or yogic practices within your circle yet with prisoners?
We have, in San Quentin, we have a lot of yoga programs. Not a yoga program that's been there for quite some time. And they have opportunity to participate. But I'm going to go back to California and I'm going to be talking to Swami Padma. Yes. I'm going to connect with him and I'm going to see how we can, how this sacred space can work with him and how we can, some way, somehow, I don't know, it's on my heart to be able to bring something in H unit where they don't have meditation or yoga. They have just maybe just, how can I say it, dialogue groups. And why do you ask that question?
I play sacred music, and I played in some prisons, so I'd like to connect with you and perhaps that'd be something.
Yeah, we'll see. You have to come to California, or I don't know. We'll talk about it. I don't know. When I wrote my book, The Last Hustle, the reason I called it The Last Hustle because when I met Gangaji, I had one more hustle up my sleeve. I said, well, I don't care what she's talking about. When I get out, I'm gonna cash these checks. So after the dialogue between her and I, you know, it's like you have an ace up your sleeve. Well, she took that ace and left me with consciousness. And so I try to do the same thing, but not just wherever I go, I try to do that. I try to share my wisdom with those the best way I know how. I'm not the best teacher, I'm not the best enlightened person, but I do have one thing. I want everybody to experience what I experience because I know what I experience is real. It has stood the test of time and all the stuff that's been coming at me. But I have to stay humble. Why do I stay humble? Because as I was telling a story today, a friend of mine about a month ago, we both worked in prison. He says, Kenny, since I last saw you, I had a heart attack. He says, it felt like an elephant put his foot on my chest, then sat down. He said, and so I thought about that. I said, how would it feel for us on the path when consciousness decides to sit down in the form of troubles and struggles in our life? So I have to stay humble because I realize that this great mystery is so powerful that it can actually take the life from you. So I'm constantly being humble. My troubles humble me. My situation, my friends, everything's always humbling me. And when I see my teacher, I'm just bowing. I try to stay as humble as possible because I'm so grateful to be out here. I didn't have to be out here. I was not trying to be out here in a lot of ways. So here I am here. This is amazing for me. So many of my friends they're 60-some years old and they're done. They're done. They're not getting out. They're through. And why me? My aunt kept telling me, Kenny, the Lord's got to work from you. Kenny Dale, the Lord's got to work from you. And I didn't know what she meant when I was hustling and had diamonds and everything. What do you mean the Lord's got to work for me? I'm cool. I got diamonds on. I got suits. I mean, what are you talking about? And what happened is I got painted. I was painted. I painted myself into a corner. I was ready to commit suicide. I was done. I had 40 years for writing bad checks. I was 32 years of age. I said, I got to do 10 years before I even see a parole board. And I might mess up. I'm a dead man, so I wanted to commit suicide. And I started saving pills to commit suicide. But a black guard came in. He said, I want to talk to you, young man, because he must have saw me putting a pill up on my tongue. He says, that light you're trying to put out, can't die. He says, and he says, go talk to these men over here. They'll give you some help. And it was a prison guard that turned me toward the light. And his turning me toward the right light made me start reading and studying and meditating and wanting to know more about this light. And I kept moving closer and closer and closer to the light. That's why I love it when the priests take this lamp of camp on these. Yes, the light. I love that. I love rituals. I love ceremony. I was telling someone, I said, I love this. Look at Ganesh. I mean, those symbols. That's me. That's you. That's you. You have all those gifts. That's not something. That's not hypothetical. That's not over there. That's you. That's you. That's you. Oh yeah. You're gonna put that cover around and they won't bite you. And Swami Vishnu, he proved it all. Yes, he proved. He said, you don't need a passport when you got consciousness. I was so inspired. I said, yes, I'm through my passport. Not really. But I saw how Swami, he took his teaching to prove, when you got consciousness, and consciousness got you. So you don't need nothing, oh my God, but consciousness. Whoa. And that's everything. And that is there, that is there, that is there, that is there, that is everywhere. Oh my God. And you are that, and that is you. And so when you're studying and reading, you're getting up early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're doing the Bhagavad Gita and all that stuff, guess what? You're getting these gifts. You're preparing yourself to walk back out there, and you have the passport, you have the knife, you have everything. How do I know? Because I had to prove it to myself. my mantra, I asked the teacher, I said, Baba, they say I need a mantra. He says, you don't need a mantra right now. Then all of a sudden I went to Bali, I came back, I said, the magic is always here. Because I started seeing in my life, no matter where I went, consciousness was taking care of me. And that was this magical energy that's everywhere. And so, as my mantra is a living mantra, the magic is always here. God's grace is here now. The problem is the solution. And you are studying these things to get these gifts to walk back out into the world to share them with others. The point that this is you, this is you, this is you. If it's a Christian, it's a Muslim, it's a Buddhist, doesn't really matter. Today I was in Atlantis and a black woman says, who are you? What's going on? You look different here. I don't all right. You know. I said, I just wrote a book. I want to give you a copy of my book. I went back to the hotel at 2 o'clock, gave her the book. She said, thank you so much. She says, I'm running home to read it now. She says, I want to know more about this meditation and yoga. I said, listen, get the boat and come over here. Everything you know. This is a beautiful place. I didn't know anything about Sivananda Ashram, yoga. I didn't know anything about it until Rukmini, where she sent for me, and I said, shoot, I don't know. I got here and I'm like, it's amazing. It's really amazing. I'm going to miss this tomorrow. Saturday morning when I wake up. I'm not going to hear the bell. Bang, bang, bang. I'm not going to come here and do the meditation and listen to the chants. I mean, I love it when he does it, when she does the same thing. I said, man, I love that. Wow. Question, one more question. Yes. Swami, can I impose? Could you please ask me a question? I gotta hear something from you, man.
What is the most important thing at this moment?
It's amazing that you would ask that question, because when I came over, I said, I hope I get a chance to say the most important thing is this moment. In this moment is everything. In this moment. And it doesn't have to look like anything but however it shows up in this moment. Yes, go ahead. Wow.
So I'm glad that the Swami asked this question first, because it helps me to phrase my question, which is, how do we bring this moment to people in your prior circumstances? How do we make that first connection on their level?
Wow, this is amazing, Swami. Guess what? You remember you open the book up and bam, I just did the same thing. So, this is called the sacred space. And I was saying, and I was looking at, so I said, here's the answer. This is really beautiful. The men and women incarcerated in our prisons are just like everyone else.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to miss you. Go ahead.
My question is really quick. How do you see, how do you see using the yogic principles to change it from the inside out, working in the prison system? Because I've done the meditations inside, and it just seems to sort of help the 1, 2, 3, 6 people. I don't really, you know what I mean? Like the prison guard that helped you is a big surprise to me, because that seems rare.
Okay. Just have no expectation. Just go in, as Gangaji, I said, when people want me to go in prisons to do work, she says, Kenny, go in empty. Have no expectation. Whether your yoga's going to work or not work, meditation's going to work or not work, go in empty. And that will take care of everything. Your expectation is something for you. Just go in empty. Then you'll meet them right where they are. Because you might not even have yoga. You might just sit there and talk about, hot rods. You don't know. It's really an honor to be here. It really is.
There's a question here.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
How did you meet your guru?
She came to prison. She had a prison program, and I was in federal prison in 1994. And she came in a small group, this meditation group in the chapel. And we came out of meditation, and I asked her a question about where is God's grace? She said, God's grace is here now. And my mind just came to the moment. And I started realizing things inside of myself that I had never realized. So she had a prison program, and I just copied her, and now I have a prison program. And I just keep giving back to those who appreciate it. Whether they're in prison or out of prison, it's all in prison up here. Really.
Hi, Kenny. I'm wondering if you could, if you are aware of it, say a little bit about why or what you think about the Bible not grounding you in the same way that the Bhagavad Gita.
What happened was, the Bible, what happened is this. When I started reading the Bible, I hadn't had a transformation. And so I got frustrated in reading something that I couldn't understand, and the preachers and the scholars wasn't explaining to me. So I just, through the grace of God, I was turned toward the Eastern religion and philosophies and teachers, and they were more direct. You can walk through walls, you can have cities, you can have awakening, you can be in love with a rock. I'm like, wow. What's this about? So I said, wow, let me read more of this. And so I just started going deeper and deeper, and once I fell in love, once I got the Bhagavad Gita, then that was my Bible, because it's very direct. It's very clear. And I needed to have something very clear, because remember, I was a country boy from Arkansas with a limited amount of understanding. So I thought literally in every aspect. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna physically die. I wasn't thinking symbolically until I had my awakening experience. Then I went back to the Bible. Then I understood Jesus, who Jesus was, what Jesus is. I understood the Immaculate Conception. I started understanding these things because they're talking about my spiritual experience. So I'm okay with the Bible. When a preacher reads from the Bible, I'm okay with it. Because I know he's talking about my spiritual experience. Even if he don't know, I know.
Hello.
Yes, hey, how you doing? I'm just falling in love with this gentleman back there. He's just beaming light. How you doing, brother? Yeah, you. Hello, how you doing?
Perfect, thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes.
I had two questions about your time in prison. One was if you developed a physical practice when you were there.
Yes.
And then the other is how did your fellow inmates respond to what you were going through?
Oh, good. Look, first I had meditation yoga. We had a small group. We would go every Tuesday and Wednesday and read the books. Trump Rinpoche from the Shambhala organization from Boulder, Colorado, they would come in, the Buddhists would give us a Buddhist teaching, the Hinayana, Mahayana, and the Vajrayana. And then on Wednesdays, Gangaji's organization would come in with the videos of Gangaji. And then we would have meditation all through the week, in yoga and whatever the case may be. And that helped me, just those practices. And your next question was what?
Well, I didn't know that you were doing it in a group. I was wondering how the other prisoners with you
Good,
were
okay.
reacting.
Well, I want to make sure that's right. Now, once I met Gangaji and I had to shift, all the guys I was hanging out with fell away. Because they want to talk about selling drugs, and all I want to do is sit and just look at the snow-capped mountains of Colorado and just be empty. So they thought I lost my mind, which I really did. And I wasn't trying to find it. And they were trying to help me find my mind. I didn't want to find it. So they says, Kenny, let's walk the yard, talk about the game, hustling. And I said, man, all I want to do is sit here and smoke this cigarette, man, and look at the mountains, man. And his name was Stuntman. It's in the book. Stuntman says, Kenny, whatever that is you got, I don't want none. Because he knew intuitively that he would have to let go of his life and who he is. See, people already know if they get too close to Sivananda ashram, they're going to have to let go of a lot of stuff. So let's drive right on by. Hey, how you doing? Because they know if they come here, they will have to show up. They will have to be seen, and most people aren't really trying to be seen. Yes, you will see them. Like, it's very intense sitting here with Swami. I didn't know he was going to be in attendance tonight. I was cool. Swami be over here. I didn't know. But he's here, and so I'm seen. He's seen me, and it's very intense to be seen. To really be seen through. There's no hiding place. Yes.
Hi, over here.
Oh.
So thank you so much. I work with people who have been multiply incarcerated.
Right.
I do public health research, and so I have a comment and I have a question for you. One is that I guess I just want to let people know that that there are the books that got into prison, like people have to organize for that to happen. Right. You guys can't just go to a bookstore and get them.
No.
So there's a lot of I don't think every prison has a library or
yeah, they do.
Do they?
Every prison has a library.
Oh, really?
I mean, that matter of fact, prisons they can actually get sent out to the streets to something called an interlibrary loan and get any book in the world.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay. And I think that's usually run by volunteers, or?
No, that's run by the prison, by the library in the prison. You have to go to the library, fill a form out, and it goes out to the streets, and the books come out in a couple of weeks. If they find it in that series, they keep looking till they find that book, then it comes to you. You have to keep it for about a month or so, then send it back out.
All right, and I was just wondering, I just completed a training called Integrative Restoration.
Yeah, IRIS.
Yeah, so I think they do it in San Quentin, right?
Yes.
With Kelly.
Matter of fact, they're going in. We're talking now how Kelly boys start going in with us. Yes.
Yeah, she's great. I worked with her. Yeah. So it's a type of yoga nidra.
Yeah, it is yoga nidra, and we're totally revamping our program, starting all over again from the square, a new 501c3, everything, new volunteers, and a whole new vision, because the vision that I had got old and wasn't working. So as you know, things have to catch up to 2012. So we're doing everything now. And I want to say this: I had a lady get 1,000 of these printed up, and they should be back in the Bay Area maybe next week. And we're going to start sending them out to as many prisons as possible. We're going to see how fast the first 1,000 go. What I realized, that men and women in prison got an inordinate amount of time on their hands. And when you get a book like this into them, any book, any spiritual book, it really shifts the consciousness. Because why? The book is just laying around, got nothing else to do. So I'll read this book. And the next thing you know, whoa, wait a minute, he says, I'm not a black man. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? So automatically, that's you're getting them to think differently. So whole purpose of my book was for it to go into my brothers and sisters in prison, so that they can have the shift. So I'm doing all I can to. That's why I want to talk with Swami Partner about how we can partner and start sending them in to do your prison program, because you already have a pipeline set up, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to get in and say, okay, here's a book. How can you get it sent in? Because most prisons have a list of a separate organization. I think Siddha Yoga, the Gangaji Foundation, Sivananda Foundation. They're accepted in the prisons around the world. So whatever you give to them, they can send right on in. You go right on in to the inmate. So this is how I want to talk to Swami Partner, so we can also start send this book in to all the men that's a part of that program. Because the book is a real good book. It's a great read. It's an amazing read. And I would like to give you a copy of the book and autograph it for you. Thank you. And to read and to approve that this is something that you would endorse, for inmates to read. Because I don't want to, send something in or be so arrogant to think that if I feel good about it, that it's acceptable, because I know you have certain guidelines and certain prescriptions that need to be followed. And I'm willing to humble myself and say, read it and say, yes, this can go in or not. Over here, all the way in the corner. Okay. Oh yeah, back there. Then there.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
I was wondering if you would explain or tell about your relationship with your daughter, your family after you came out of prison.
Prisoners have created such a mess, and I'm still suffering repercussions of the mess that I created by being a person that cared about no one but myself and what I could get out of life, irregardless. And what most men and women do, they have children, and then they go back in and out of prison, and the child grow up angry and hateful, and they become criminals or drug addicts, for the case, because of lack of parental connection. My daughter was 32 years old, and I was 47 when I got out of prison. When I got out of prison, I remember this year, my daughter and she was so amazed that I was still at the house all day long. Because normally when I get out of prison, I say, hello, how y'all doing? And I'm going hanging out with my friends. This day, I'm just sitting there with my grandkids, and they're sitting there all day long, eating McDonald's burgers and just hanging out. And then my daughter comes back from being gone all day with her husband. She says, you still here? I said, yeah, I mean, where else did it go? And so she knew then, right then, something happened to her dad. And so that night, we had never, she's 32 years old, I'm 47 years old, we had never, ever, 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 ever been together. Except in passing. So she sat next to me in the dining room table chair. We sat and we held each other all night long. That was our bonding. We didn't talk, we just sat there and we were just quiet holding each other. Now she's my best friend. I'm somewhat of a teacher. You know, I share my wisdom with her. Whenever she wants to know something or whenever she wants some spiritual support, she comes to me. What happens is most men and women, when they get out of prison, they never ever really go back to their families because they're still on drugs, they're still on alcohol. And the few that wake up, they go back and they try to clean up, but it's very difficult. I just discovered a week ago before I flew out here, I knew I had another daughter by another woman. I just found her last Saturday when I was flying out. My boss and I, we went online looking, just Googling, up pop her name. So now when I get back, I got to try to connect with a daughter that's 29 years of age. I have never seen her. She has never seen me. I knew that she exists. I don't know if she ever knew that I exist. I'm sure she probably thought about it. So now what do I say? What do I do? All I can do is be present to her and say, I'm sorry. Let's go from here. She can curse me, she can scream at me, she never want to see me, and I have to deal with that. You know, having the awakening experience is one thing, but then you got to clean up all the messes that you made. I made a lot of messes. So I'm in the process of still cleaning up. Now here's this one, next one. I'm gonna write a letter, I'm gonna send a card, or whatever I can do. So we'll see.
Can you tell us?
Oh, just you can come that way. Or can you meet him halfway?
Hi. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the practices that you do to keep your strength and your spirituality.
It's called life. I don't have the luxury of an ashram. My ashram is the life. After you leave here, you get on a boat, you go get on a plane, you go home. You set up your office, you do the meditation, you do your yoga, but you have to still, you have to do, you got to walk out the streets and somebody might, and you have to really, man, you asked a good question. It's the grace that takes care of you. It's the grace that takes care of you. And what happens is, as you're meditating, doing yoga, and you're living life, and you're having all these different experiences, after a while, there comes this wisdom that I've been here so many times before, it's going to work out. You start knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what the situation and circumstance. It's called wisdom. You gain a spiritual wisdom. But that comes from walking with your practices and your teaching and your teachings. Through the pitfalls and the setbacks and the letdowns and the upheavals and the joys and being tumbled around. The grace of your lineage is right there. You can't know all the things that's going to come at you. But that which created you knows everything, has got you covered. that movie of Swami Vishnu, I mean, man, you should study that. Because he got everything right there. Trust grace. Trust consciousness. He set it out. Did I answer that right? Yeah. Correctly? Did you get any of that? It's just, it's a mystery. Nobody owns it. If you can't bottle it, it's a mystery. When you walk out of here, you go home, wherever you're going, whatever you're going to do, you cannot have a foreknowledge. You just have to just be totally empty and see where it takes you. But your good heart, your good intentions will take care of you. Why am I here? Because I had a good heart. I didn't want to rape people. All I wanted was some money. I didn't want to hurt nobody physically. But in prison, guys trying to come in, so you have to protect yourself. But I just wanted to have some money and buy some clothes. That's all I wanted. I was a poor black man. I just wanted money, that's all. But I ended up getting this. And I'm grateful for this. And I trust this to take care of me. And you have to do the same thing. Don't like that answer. Life is hard. But you have grace. You have grace. That's what I found in my life as I've been walking. Grace has been taking care of me. Grace is constantly taking care of me. Hold it, taking care of me. Not dropping. Constantly. Wherever I go, in any situation, grace is right there. Yes. She's behind you.
Hi, Kenny.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. We're running out of time?
No.
Okay. So I have a question and a share.
Okay.
So my question, where did the question go? I'll do the share first. Okay. My question was.
Okay.
It's empty up there.
Yeah. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah, definitely. As far as dealing with any shadow aspects of yourself,
yes.
when those come up, anger, any old parts of yourself, or do you still deal with any old parts of yourself?
Oh boy,
that's my question.
See, I wasn't trying to go. I was trying to have it nice and sweet. When I was in Bali, in order to go into the temple, you had to cover yourself with a skirt. First you have the regular, then you have another on top. And I saw most of these men had this checkerboard. So I said, why a checkerboard? The black and white checkered type skirt. Why this? Well, it says the darkness and the light are right next to each other. I said, oh man. So my shadow is right next to me at all times. My dark side is just right there with me. Matter of fact, they're brothers and sisters. So the shadow is not really against you, the shadow is for you. Because it's pointing you toward the light. Every time I get in a dark place or a depressed place, I just stay with it. My practice is to stay with it. It's a meditation to stay with it. And if everybody see me in a dark place, I'm just with it. I'm with the whole problem situation. I'm with it. I'm not running from it. Or if I am running, I see myself trying to run from it. But I know if I stay with it, I'm going to go through it. And I'm going to come out the other side with more wisdom, more understanding of the darkness, of the shadow, of my dark side. I don't know if they teach you about the dark. Do you teach them about the dark side? Oh yeah, okay, so you know about the dark side. It's right there next to you. Matter of fact, I say the darkness and the light, they're right there, right next to each other, but holding them together is consciousness. So you're okay. You go into the dark, you got problems, that's beautiful. Because the light is coming, then guess what? Then the darkness is coming, then guess what? The light is coming, guess what? The darkness is coming. So don't get attached to either one. Just like your mind went empty, stay attached to emptiness.
In my share, I guess I probably could have told you later because we were working together on some stuff, but I wanted to tell the group because it's very exciting. I was doing some research because Kenny agreed to coming to Florida to speak at some schools. And I was researching and trying to contact the high school today, and then I did some research and realized that the middle school I went to was the school that had the big conflict that some of you might have heard about in the news where the boy crushed the girl's head, stomped on her head.
Yeah.
That's the middle school that I went to. So I contacted them, and they're very interested in talking to you, to the 8th graders.
Oh, great. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, when I was in Bali, what I realized is that before they become teenagers, you got to catch them when they're 8, 9, and 10 and share this teaching with them the best way you know how. So I want to start working with the young before they say, hey, this is my life, you have an option here. You know, in schools you can't talk about religion, but you can't talk about, you know, basic goodness, you know, having a good heart, you know, love. You can still set it out in a very non-confrontational manner because there is about religion, separation of churches, so you can't speak about God, Jesus, or Buddha, I can't do that. So I'm excited because I want my life example to be able to stop the young men and women from getting into the gangs, realize that they have an option, that they can meditate, that they can use their hands to be artists or writers or creators of crafts or musicians. They need to know that, especially the poor young kids. Like somebody says, the greatest violence is poverty. That's why there's so many young black men right over here in Nassau killing themselves. Why? There's no industry there. So what do? They get drunk. You know what alcohol does to the body, irritates them, then they want to kill each other. So I want to be able to catch them before they even get to that stage. And let's let them know that the grace of God is here for them too. A young girl in Bali was 11 years old. She says, Kenny, she says, I want to know if moksha is available for me. 11 years old. She says, is moksha available for me? Can I attain that in this life? Well, there's only this life, there's only this moment, so of course. She relaxed. Because everybody had told her that she couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had conditioned her that you can't attain anything in this life. So it was almost like, what's the use? But what this ashram, this organization said, you can attain anything in this life. And you can do anything in this life. And again, I swear, I wish I could copy that movie. I mean, that's you. Look at Swami Vishnu, he proved it. I didn't know he did all that. Like, wow, man, that's amazing. I'm gonna miss you.
Come back.
Yeah, I am now. I mean, I have no choice. I look forward to it. You know, if you would have me next year or next month and whenever. Yes.
have a really easy question for you.
Good. I can't sing.
Where do you live?
Wow.
Or maybe thoughts, I mean.
Well, you know, it's so funny. Before I went to Bali, I had an apartment and everything. Then I had a...
Which part of the country?
California.
The reason I asked that is because I live in California.
I live in Oakland. Well, I'm staying in Oakland.
I'm in Los Altos. And
that's right down the street. Yeah. Really?
So I've done some work in the prison there in Vacaville.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'd like to talk to you about it.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
I found, I just want to tell a little...
Yeah, sure.
I was invited to Vacaville prison, and there were prisoners were invited for a meditation program, and I'd never done this before. And I mean, I visited prisoners, but I'd never done something with a group of prisoners that I didn't know.
Right.
There were 50 of them, and these were guys that were like really muscly and tattoos, and I was thinking, you'd think it'd be really scary, but they were so gentle.
That's right.
And they had them all singing, and they loved it.
Right.
And it was quite a surprise. And they never searched my guitar case when I went in there. I could have had a gun in there.
Right.
I don't know why.
But look at you.